Hi there, it's Paulie here. So, some people have asked me about the video games that I did way back in the past. Now, I try and keep the anecdotes light-hearted. There's not a lot of light-hearted stuff to tell about my early game design days. This was just a nightmare. However, I will put the funny tales in there. By the way, that background behind me, I am on the island of Bali. And so we say farewell to the fair island of Lulu. Spelled backwards. But, yep, we're exploring again. So, I left university, lived in poverty for a couple of years, and then somehow ended up finding an advert from one of the very first computer game design houses, definitely the first one in the Southern Hemisphere, Melbourne House. Melbourne House, famous for such things as Horace Goes Skiing. Look it up. I was brought in because they needed a games designer. These were all programmers. Very good on doing the maths and getting the best out of the machines, because this stuff was all just recorded on cassette that you had to play by tape into your machines. None of this fancy disc stuff for us, ladies and gentlemen. It was way too earlier days. But they needed someone who wasn't a programmer. Someone that comes up with games. You know, my background is games and storytelling and writing and game design theory, you know, risk reward, all that sort of stuff. That's what I'm actually physically trained in. That is my life and his. So got the job. Did a couple of freelance ones for them. The first one was called Mugsy's Revenge, which was, you know, a game where you're trying to run bootlegging. Very simple, but hey, my first professional game design. Then they got me to do another one, which is kind of a choose-your-own-adventure style thing called Maces and Magic. And then they decided they needed me full-time, so in I came. I was one of the world's first computer game designers. Now, we might come back to this point later, because one of the things is they don't do this anymore. They found that they needed someone that wasn't involved in the technical machine end of doing games. And in this day and age, they've forgotten that. So they've gone back to being stuck in the loop they were in back in 1982 when I got together with these other idiots. In any case, they had brought out The Hobbit text adventure. Now, for those of you too young to remember, text adventures used a system called they're a parser game. They give you a description, a light description of the area around you, and the computer program looks for your instructions, and you can give it sort of verbs and nouns and so on. So if it says you're outside of a tavern which has a cool green door, it's a merry little place, smoke's coming out of the chimney, there's also a road going off to the north and south and some trees off to the west. You can say, look at trees. And if it has material for that, it will tell you, there seem to be some mysterious entertainers camped under the trees. Okay. Well, if you look at the description, it says the trees were to the west. You can say, go west. It'll take you there. Or you can look at the green door. You might be able to try other things, and it'll tell you if you can't do them. Climb tavern roof, dig hole, jump down well, you know, these sorts of things. You can try doing it, and it might trigger something that they've got on the menu. Or it might not, in which case it's just say, I'm sorry, you can't do that. Some of these games got really screwed up, by the way, where they would tell you, like there was one for, I think it was The Island. The first thing you had to write in, because you've crashed a plane in the sea off this island and you're thrashing around in the water, you had to write hyperventilate. If you didn't, you die on location 1. So anyway, these things could get stupid. But these guys had done The Hobbit, and they had the license to do the Lord of the Rings trilogy. The glory. But they had designed this thing, and they wanted someone just to do all the text. So I was brought in to do the text for the Lord of the Rings. Just do this, do the descriptions for the places, you know, you're the writer. So I did, but I couldn't affect the design. That became a world #1 hit, by the way. So my first real game was a world #1, as was games #2 and 3. But game #2, the head designer of it, Philip Mitchell, who was a bit of a git, he just wandered off. He was too important to do this. Now this project's going. He's got other things to do. So they brought in a guy called John Hayward. Now John was a lovely, 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 lovely man. Okay, so I was an instigator of starting the La Trobe University Wargames Club in Melbourne. There were no Wargames clubs at the universities. John was kind of a bit of an instigator in setting up the Melbourne University one. Melbourne University was the toffee-nosed university where you go to become, you know, doctors and lawyers and Mighty Captains of Industry, and La Trobe University, where you go to learn how to set fire to cars, drink a lot, and to be really, really useful at protests, which surprisingly has been a skill that I've used every year of my damn life. Anyway, nice to see John again. So he was kind of brought in as the head programming lead, but there was also a lovely lady called Lynn C. That was Lynn with a C for her last name because she programmed in C, and we were all nerds back then. And a lovely guy called Norton Trotter. And in the second and third games, it essentially began to devolve down to just me and Norton. Norton was a little genius. Now, because we had to fit so much information onto these cassettes, Norton came up with a way of basically making a sort of a lexicon, a dictionary, where words and phrases that could appear through the game he would replace with like a number, so that you didn't have to refer to these things and have them recorded as written text. So instead of you walk down the lane, you come to a crossroads, you can go north, south, east, or west. Right. Well, walking and the lane and down are all words that are going to be in common use, and crossroads and north, south, east, west. So I would write that out, and then we would translate that to, well, U is also common, so 135, 23, 64, 369.5 recurring. Anything that got you to store slightly less information so you could just cram more into these sorting cassettes. So, you know, he was a bit of a genius on that level. Norton, we salute you. He was hilarious. Now here's where we start going into, you know, the really bad stuff. So this company had been created, and you've got to realize there's no one else in the world has these skills at this time. You can't go to a university and learn it, and this is the first generation of people that are coming out of university with actual honest-to-God programming skills. We are talking like 1982 here. So the company is hiring 21, 22-year-olds coming out of university because they're the ones with the mad skills. So, all right, a bit of a cool vision. You know, and it's, oh yeah, this that was so radical because they're hiring new people. No, that's the only choice they've got. There are a couple of slightly older people, like Philip Mitchell and so on, involved, who are from a slightly stuffier, older generation, the Pong generation, and they're the really maths-heavy ones. They really weren't good at coming up with the game within the game. And then they got me. Let's bring in the mad hippie writer who's willing to set fire to things and do protests. Yeah, anyway. But when Lord of the Rings came out, it hit world number 1. And that's when they changed, because now they've decided they're important. And important industry leaders don't have groups of hippies working for them, and they don't just have happy-go-lucky offices where all the experts do what the experts do. So first off, they decided it's going to be suit and tie now, and everyone's going to have company titles, and that we're going to say who you're cleared to talk to. We can't just have ideas flinging around where people can freely discuss ideas in a company that's all about making games and ideas. And now we've all got titles, so instead of just like Fred, the guy that runs it, and the business manager, and, you know, here's the accountant. No, now everyone's a producer, a director. They attached film titles. These are the first guys that did it. They brought in business consultants. That's why you've still got it today. Pretty much everything from the computer industry, and almost everything from like inventories on computer role-playing games to isometric view to, you know, we did it. Isometric scrolling, we did it. We were the ones that did it. But this was also the place where things like bullshit film terms began to use for people doing games. And with that came more of a sense of massive self-importance for management, and more of a sense that the people on the floor making the games were scum. And the worst scum in the building is the game designer, because programmers, they at least had a skill that was kind of maths and typing stuff into a machine that these guys couldn't do. But a writer just does what you would do if you just had the time. So the writer only deserves the respect that you would give to someone who's like a lackey, really. Some sort of scum that cleans up your spilled drink. That was how I was treated. Not joking, I earned less money than the temporary girl they got in to answer phones Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. But I'm creating the world number 1 games. And that was true of all the people on the ground. They're not really paying us what we're worth. But these guys are living literally a Maserati lifestyle. So they start losing people, which means the quality goes down. And these guys double down. Well, we're losing people because we're not controlling them enough. So we're going to make you sign contracts which says you can't work in the games industry for 5 years, 7 years, 10 years after you've left us. Yeah, we'll control them tighter. That'll make it more creative. So you can see with this lead, and I can see it in virtually every games company I have ever visited ever since. Every single one of them has this toxic culture, and I can look at it and I could almost write you a date on a piece of paper when it's going to die. Seal it in an envelope and you just hand it to you later. Here you go. Yeah, I said they had 4 years. But anyway, the funny side of it. So the funny side of the Lord of the Rings game was that I came in and it had been made by these kind of great programmers, but I couldn't change the design. And they published it. They just, hand us the descriptions, and they just published it. All right, well, this has gone out. Well, I'd like to play what we made. Now, I just did the stuff that any of us would do. You, me, all the crazy people we play games with, we're role-playing gamers. All right, so I got on here, and I started doing stuff, and that's when the comedy began. Lord of the Rings, Game 1. Right, so, first off, the Black Riders are a threat. Oh, a terrible threat, and they can kill you. So, all right, so I'm playing the game, and when you get to the town of Bree, the Black Riders' horses are in the stables there because they're in the town, and that's the clue that these guys are wandering the town looking for the Baggins, and they shall kill the Baggins. Stab, 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 stab. Okay, well, hang on. I'm Frodo Baggins. I have Sting, the sword. Good. No one's around. All right. Kill the horses. Kill 9 horses. Stabbity, 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 stab. I kill the 9 horses. All right. Good. For the rest of the game, this sort of thing would happen. We get to the fords of Rivendell. You're at the fords of Rivendell, when suddenly, a dread scream fills the air. You turn and you see 9 black riders on 9 black horses up in the up at the ford. They draw their swords and charge towards you. Then they go through their scripts. Black Rider number 1 attempts to charge towards you. He cannot move because his horse is dead. Black Rider 2 attempts to charge towards you. He cannot move because his sword is dead. All the way down. So he goes, yeah, mule, go mule. No, they can't come after you because they won't get off their dead horses. And they would silhouette themselves threateningly on hilltops and so on for the rest of the game. And you can find the flying creature, the pterodactyl, that the Witch King is riding in the later books. He was in a roost somewhere. All right, hang on. I'll pause on my normal journey. I'm just going up to the roost here. Okay, I'm going to stab this thing in the neck while it's sleeping and kill it. And then later on, Gandalf's trying to save everybody. The Lord of the Nazgul appears. He tries to go after you, but his pterodactyl is dead. But they decided, hang on, as they're designing the game, hobbits have to be able to carry another hobbit because Sam carries Frodo. All right, so how this worked out in the end, there are backpacks, and a backpack has to be able to have things of a certain amount of size, and etc., etc. But the game starts in Bag End, and you've got your trusty backpacks and everything there, and you've got your people. So hang on, there are containers. Now you can see into a container if the container is open. There is a chest, open chest. Look at the thing again. You see an open chest. Inside the open chest is a coil of rope and a pair of boots. Right, but if you close it again, you can't see it from the outside. Wait, open backpack. Yeah? Get in backpack. You're in the backpack. I can get in the backpack. Close backpack. Yeah? Do a look. Describes the room, and it's just got the backpack, but it hasn't got Frodo in it because he's in the backpack. Open door. You open the door. All right. Out of the bag comes a hand. Good. And, all right, go north. Go out of the door. You've gone north. You can travel Middle-earth in a bag. You're inside the backpack. Boing, 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 boing. But here's the thing. At various crossroads and so on the way to Bree, there are Black Riders. They're looking for the Baggins. They're looking for the Baggins. We will kill the Baggins and we'll take the precious. We will kill the Baggins. No one told them to look out for a sack. So you got a backpack going boing, boing, boing down the road. Past a Black Rider on a black horse. Morning, Frank. Oh, morning, Ralph. Okay, boing, boing, just past him. I've got to keep a lookout for those hobbits. I've been told they're pretty sneaky, but fortunately, none have gone by. Only these sacks, because you can take the rest of the characters with you. They've all got a backpack. So Sam, Frodo, Perry, Merry, Pippin. You could just go through the whole game in a sack, and nothing could see you. Here is Shelob's lair. Shelob will kill things. Shelob will suck the blood out of you. Only if it can see you. Yep. She doesn't like eating. She doesn't like eating luggage. So boing boing through Shelob's lair. Sarah Thungol, doing doing, out into the crack of doom. Good. Okay, open bag, throw ring, and we're done. So that was in there from word go. However, you could also, in the later games, not in the first one, you could talk to things and give them orders to do stuff. Because Sam can tell, Frodo can tell Sam to do things, etc. However, what they didn't do was only limit that to people who are friends. So I was screwing up. I was testing the game because there were no games testers, period. I took that role on myself, particularly after I saw what had happened. They still didn't do anything. I would give them a report. I found this crazy stuff in your game. Do you want to fix it? No, they wouldn't. But I thought someone should be reporting this, so I would do it. So I'm trying to find my way through Shelob's lair. I think it was go left, go right, 2 straights, and then climb the slippery slope, and now I'm out on the path. Oh, damn, I got a left turn around with a right, and there's Shelob. Oh, crap, I'm going to have to restart the game if she kills me. But then for some reason I just told, hang on, tell Shelob go north. Shelob goes north. What? She did what I told her to. Oh my god! Go back to the very start of the game. Does that principle hold true for everything? Yes, it does. It does. You can just tell stuff to leave you alone. The Black Riders come, and Black Riders charge down the ford of Rivendell. Kill the Baggins, kill the Baggins. You say, oh good, Black Riders, go west. What? Yeah, fuck back three. Go on, that way. The Black Riders go west. Good, bye guys. You see, and you could just walk through the gates of Mordor because there are like trolls and there was a mighty orcish army there, which is a conglomerate creature. So you can just say, good, mighty orcish army, I don't know, go northeast. Yeah, just walk off into leave the gates, just walk off. And so they did, good. So you could just walk in there and throw a ring. It got crazy in that though. They'll do what you tell them to do. So, good. The first time, there you are, on Weathertop. On Weathertop. Oh my god, the Black Riders, they've all surrounded our intrepid hobbits. They come, they got the Nazgul knife, they got the swords. Oh, good. Give us the ring. All right. What? All right, I will. I will give ring to Nazgul number 1. Just give it to him. They are scripted to kill whoever has the ring. So the other 8 Nazgul turn around and immediately start stabbing this guy. He is scripted to protect himself, so he stabs them back. However, the Nazgul are also scripted to attack anyone that attacks a Nazgul, including themselves. So I stabbed him, but that means I have to stab myself because I stabbed another Nazgul. And because I'm stabbing myself, someone's attacking a Nazgul, so that means the other guys will attack me for attacking myself and a Nazgul. So these guys will just kill themselves in a frenzied buzzsaw, and then you pick up the ring. But you could also just tell them, Nazgul 1, what? Kill Nazgul 2. Good, these two are fighting, and the other will just pile in, and on and on and on and on it went. So, yeah, this is the screaming hilarity of the games. There were some honest-to-God bugs in there, like there was a mahogany bookcase that would appear for no valid reason whatsoever. It's just a random object, and would just appear. There is a mahogany bookcase. What? Seriously? We're in the middle of the Midgewater Marshes. Look, mahogany bookcase. The mahogany bookcase goes north. It would travel. It was a bug that would be left from game to game to game to game to game. Absolutely screamingly hilarious. Norton and I, at the end of them, we decided to have a race because he said, I bet, because I've had to like run test characters through. I bet I play this faster than anyone on Earth. Says, no, I do. Says, oh yeah, I'll race you. Okay, all right, ready, set, go. So he starts putting in from bag end. Okay, pick up backpack, go north, south, east, west, up, wait to. I didn't, because I'd found a thing. There was a location called Nowhere that Norton had made, and he'd forgotten about, and all objects are stored in Nowhere. That includes all doors. So, but you could go nowhere. I just once had typed in, go nowhere, and it said, you are in nowhere. What? You are in nowhere? Oh, look nowhere. Look nowhere. Well, you can see a burning fire, 2 chalices, coil of rope, this, that, the other thing, and every single door was in there. So wait, but one of them was a fiery door inscribed with dread runes. Wait, that's the door to that leads out to the Crack of Doom. So if you really wanted to play the game in a nanosecond, you go nowhere, yeah. Go through red rim door, yeah. Throw ring. That was it. So it's finished. Oh god. So that's the funny bit. By the end of this process, this company was going down in flames. They sacked John because John had noticed just how people are leaving as they're being really abused and how this place is getting worse and worse. He ran around and asked people, because he'd been left in charge. All these guys went off to pose. I think I went to the Cannes Film Festival because they're real creators now. All right. So that's what he does. He runs around and he asks people, okay, so you're not happy, so what can we do to make you happy? How do you think we could make this place work better for everyone here? And he made a list of simple things to do. You guys have to stop being such dicks. You guys have to, we'd like to feel that our work's appreciated. It wasn't big things. It wasn't like, we insist on 90% shares in the company or anything. It was just like, treat us better. Maybe don't mock us to our face. They fired him for being disloyal to the company. Praise be to the company. And that's when it started dying. They didn't like giving credits to people, so you won't find people's credits on the games that they did for years later, even as we started doing Nintendo games, and I did many of the world's first Nintendo games. It's days after I'd left, or after I was thrown out, because I was stirring up too much trouble, but they just put a guy's credits on there, or they just couldn't be bothered remembering the guy's name, so they just put him down as the faceless programmer. This guy would turn up to work with a paper bag over his head with a pair of eye holes. I'm the faceless programmer. They neither know my identity nor care. They've taken my identity. I have no name. The company has taken my name. The company has taken my face. They've given me my face. I am faceless. This is how I am. I will only respond to my facelessness. No one can see my face. The company has taken my face. The company owns my face. I do not. This is the environment they're now working in. And I just keep seeing it in games. So people have asked, have you ever worked again in the computer game industry? Yes, I have. I went on to do like some freelance stuff like the Discworld games, and there are funny tales to tell about some of the later games that I have worked on. As a general industry, I despise the computer games industry. Utterly despise it. And can I say, I've come back and I've been asked to sort of sometimes, people have asked me to come and teach, and I suddenly find that they are formularically now trying to teach game design for computer game design as a series of formulas that you can just pull out of a basket, set things that you just do, which it isn't. It's about imagination and creativity. But they're not really teaching you to be a game designer at all. They're teaching you how to use level design tools and sections of program and app to put together pre-done pieces to create games. We're back where we were before they got me in to be the person that doesn't do the technical end, but that has the creative vision, and will then, from that creative vision, we'll create new technologies to handle things, which is how we got Nintendo games and how we reverse engineered, how to crack into Nintendo's cartridges all the way back and so on. It came from someone who's not a programmer, who starts coming up with a vision, and we start creating new technologies so that we can do new things in gaming. You're not seeing many new things in computer gaming, are you? That's because they took one thing out of the loop. Anyway, there are more tales to tell, but a lot of them are pretty miserable. There's some funny ones about Discworld, but I think I've told those to you before. So anyway, I'm going to keep wandering around Bali because it absolutely rocks. You should all come here. Anyway, bye.